What's the most amount of money you ever made from a single video?
Grossed or profited?
Both.
I have grossed over 100,000 from a single interview, maybe close to 150,000.
From one
One interview, but then chopped up, all the clips come out, then the full interviews,
so
the members, total,
from the content of one interview is about
right.
150.
There's also Facebook, there's some Snapchat money, there's some Instagram money, there's some Spotify money, there might be a sponsor mixed in, like there's different ways to do it. But yeah, I've made maybe close to 150,000 off one video. Profit-wise, I've probably made about 100,000 off a single video.
50,000 in overhead on a video?
Well, sometimes you have big appearance fees, right? There's the production aspect of it. Sometimes you got to fly people out and
short of the production fee. I mean, short of the appearance fee, the rest of the expenses have to be rather minimal for one video.
Yeah, depending if you're hiring outside camera people and so forth. Yeah, I mean, probably under 5,000.
What's the biggest appearance fee you ever paid?
I don't want to say.
Can you say who it was?
I've already said it, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Really?
The first Tekashi interview was the most I ever paid for an interview.
This is before he went down?
No, this was recently. This was
How many did you do with him?
I've done 2 so far.
Oh, but two since he's kind of came back from this whole...
Yeah. Like the last few months, I've done 2. And the first one was Bananas, was probably the biggest interview of the year of not just Vlad TV, just of any genre. It's approaching 17 million views combined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But so, you pay a lot of money, but the numbers, do what they do.
How do you feel about working with a rat like him?
Look, at the end of the day, I've worked with so many people that snitched. This is not the first person that cooperated that I interviewed. I mean, think about it. I've interviewed Sammy the Bull. 90% of the mafia guys have cooperated. I've interviewed dirty cops. I've interviewed, guys from the Aryan Brotherhood that cooperated, guys from the Mexican Mafia that cooperated, Norteños and Sureños that cooperated. I believe. Don't quote me on this one, but I believe I've interviewed both sides that have cooperated in different ways. So ultimately, you're going to get a better story from someone who cooperated than who didn't cooperate and is watching what they say. Like, for example, I interviewed Joey Merlino, who's the rumored,
That's my dog.
That's your guy?
That's my dog.
I mean, it was a great interview. Don't get me wrong, right? He's the rumored Philly mob boss. Rumored. Who knows if it's true or not?
I hear all types of rumors.
You hear all types of rumors. But like with him, it's like he didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
Joey, tell me about your dad. I don't know anything about a dad. I wasn't there. I was locked up. Next question.
Yeah.
Like, like every answer was kind of like that until I had to figure out what to ask him about things he was convicted for and actual things to actually get the story out. Because outside of that, he didn't know nothing. Right?
He's a big gambler. Me and him did an interview.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So what I'm saying is talking to a Joey Merlino is a lot different than talking to a Sammy the Bull. Sammy pretty much spills his guts on everything. Joey's very guarded. So, Tekashi 6ix9ine will talk about everything because he's been convicted of everything. And he's cooperated and it's all out there.
I don't consume any Tekashi 6ix9ine content or music. I'm so uninterested in who he is and what he represents as a human. At 18, he gangbanged a 13-year-old girl.
No, not exactly. What happened in that particular situation was they're doing a video shoot and a girl shows up to the video and they film her and they find out afterwards she was underage. Like he wasn't doing anything with her, but some of the other guys in the back were messing with her. He was just doing the video with her. He didn't know how old she was. He ultimately got convicted of it. He pled guilty and got probation over the whole situation. But he didn't gangbang the girl or anything else like that.
Whatever. That close proximity.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. Like I'm not justifying what he did.
Yeah, between that and the snitching and all that stuff, I don't like who he is as a human being. So I don't consume anything that he has created, whether it's content, music, or otherwise.
I get it.
So
and that's your right. And, you have your principles. Boosie is the same way. Yeah. Boosie doesn't like anything to do with him, will not associate with him on any level. And, that's his choice.
So for me, a person who has no consumption of Tekashi versus you who has interviewed him multiple times, I don't know how to phrase this. how do you take him as a person, right? Like I don't know how to phrase what I'm trying to say. Like how do you view him as a person?
Look, at the end of the day, we have a business relationship, right? We don't hang out. We're not going out to dinner. We're not going out on double dates. You know, it's like we sit there and we do a job. And this is my relationship with a lot of people, you included, right? You know, we do interviews, but we don't really communicate outside the interview like that. And when it comes to him being an entertainer and really doing a great job and being provocative in what he says, he does a great job. He does a great job. And the numbers speak for themselves. And he's got a real fan base and he doesn't hold his tongue. And that's what it takes a lot of times to really go over the top with engagement and views and so forth. Someone who's going to be even-tempered and is going to be politically correct and not want to offend anybody and try to make everyone happy and so forth, you're not going to get a very good interview out of that. But he's over the top on every level to the point where it's not just an act. Like he's probably going back to prison again for a probation violation, right? He's on like constantly in some shit. You know, before I did the first interview, he got into it with someone at the mall and he beat him up and then they reported it and now he's potentially going back to prison. And then after my interview, his house got robbed. His mom was, you know, 4 gunmen go in, they put his mom, you know, they take her hostage. This is like what he represents and what he actually does in real life is kind of the same thing. So his whole life is like a roller coaster. So, you know, it's crazy to see. But, you know, we did the one interview that really was the big interview. Like, because he did a whole bunch of them since then. But the one that we did with the yellow hoodie on, that one went through the roof.